Leon is not the father. Tonight we're getting into the fall finale. Stay tuned. It's the Almost Family After Show.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Almost Family After Show. My gosh, we have so much to get into tonight. Tonight we are talking about Season 1, Episode 8, Fertile AF. Guys, we have so much to talk about tonight. Leon is not the daddy. Edie finally tells the truth. Roxy is spinning out of control. We have news and gossip, predictions, and our special segment. But sitting to my left, I have Miss Bethany Jean.
What's up, guys?
And then we also, Jessica couldn't be here tonight. Jessica, I've just made up her name. She will be back when we are back for the winter premiere, but she's not going to be here with us tonight. She's here with us in spirit. But anyway, I'm your moderator, Princess Carol, and so let's just get into the episode. I feel like we have so much to just talk about. So much happened. What were your overall thoughts?
Surprise ending. Holy smokes. I did not see that coming at all. And it was so cool to finally hear them speak at all of her mother. She's been this kind of like non-existent ghost character that we just know she was conceived from something, but she's not around and hasn't been around, and she was raised by dad. We still don't really know how she passed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we still have a lot of questions about mom. But my heart was breaking for Julia when she found out her mom didn't know if she wanted to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find this out.
Plot twists.
Whoa.
All the plot twists. My mind was blown. It kind of makes sense in a way to me. In the back of my mind, I always felt like, I mean, obviously none of them look like Leon because they're not related. But still, part of me just felt like, you really don't look like Leon. I don't know. I could just be making that up.
You thought that all along.
Well, I won't say I thought it, but something about her just seemed a little different to me. But I also could be thinking that just because I just found out he's not the daddy.
Yeah.
So, but let's just go ahead and get into Julia. She had a lot going on this episode. So she went and decided that she was going to freeze her eggs. And first of all, I want to ask you your thoughts on that, because I kind of felt like that was kind of pressured from Leon. But then she also was talking to Donovan and kind of making...
You could never regret it, though. I mean, it's great advice.
It is great advice, but as long as it's what you want, though.
But she doesn't know what she wants. So if you don't know what you want, freeze the eggs.
It's an expensive option, girl.
Yeah, but it's family business.
Family business.
She's like, just toss them in there.
Keep these in
the fridge for me.
At least she has the luxury. A lot of women don't have that luxury, so...
And I don't know how expensive it is. I haven't looked into it personally, but it is expensive. But I think it's one of the more cost-effective options just going into fertility.
Yeah, one of my coworkers actually did it last year. It is quite pricey, and then you have to pay to store it. I don't know what I'm
talking about.
No, you have to pay to store it. It is an investment, but if you can, then it's a great option, but there's so many women that can't. Mm-hmm. And for me, Julia, I think my thing with her is I need her to be, I don't know if autonomous is the right word, but I really want her to make her own decisions and stop being pressured into things, whether it's freezing your eggs or whether it's how you run the business. I just feel like she's still not out of that shadow of her father.
Well, and that's what Roxy threw in her face. As addicts do. When the finger's being pointed at them, they're like, what about you? What about you? And they just start like throwing daggers.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Oh, I felt bad for her.
Yeah, but one thing I did kind of feel was a little inappropriate, and let me know your thoughts on this, obviously. I felt like some of the jokes that she made with Donovan were a little inappropriate. She may not have meant anything.
Hinting. Joking, not joking.
You do it once, cool. You get the pass, but you do it a couple times, I just thought it was inappropriate.
Well, it just goes to show where she's at in her life in terms of the quality of relationships she's had, because he's been married and had a family with someone. So to him, Julia's a nice girl he's seeing. To her, she's like, you're the first thing I've ever come across that feels like real feelings and potential of a family life. So they're kind of weighted differently.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's had a really good attitude about it.
He has. I think that he put his foot down when he needed to.
Yeah, but she couldn't stop herself.
She couldn't stop herself.
She was just like, why can't I stop making these comments?
Oh
but
my gosh.
I kind of get it. She's never felt even remotely about anyone in a sense of imagining a future. So she's new to that. So, you know, it makes sense that she's considering these things with him.
But is she really new to that? Because I think that she had a good relationship with Tim.
Yeah, that's true. But how old were they back then?
That's another mystery. Hopefully we'll find that out when the season comes back. Because I would love to know more about their history and find out, were they college sweethearts? What was the deal there? So, but the topic of the hour. So Julia does all these testing, thought that she would have to have a sperm donor. Turns out she's totally fertile, fertile AF as the show is called. But Leon is not her daddy. Plot twist, my mind was blown.
Me too.
How do you even come back from that? What do you think?
I don't know. I was really surprised that Isaac just told her. Like, I feel like I was surprised he didn't talk to Dr. Bechley first and be like, hey, I just want you to know that this came up in Julia's...
Well, see,
like,
that's patient information, though.
Yeah.
You can't share that.
But it's not... I don't know that it's their job to tell you who your parents are. I think it's just his job to see if she's fertile.
I don't know what the purpose of that testing
Unless
is.
he's like, I'm looking at all of your families.
Probably for genetic
history. Yeah. If that's a factor, then, like, I get it. Then, yes, he would say something. But if it was just like, whoa, we're close friends, and I just found this out about you, and now I have to tell you. I guess I don't know. I don't know.
It's tough because...
I don't know what the protocol is there.
It's tough.
But I was surprised Leon wasn't there for it.
It's tough because you have the fact that she's a patient, so you have the protocol surrounding the fact that she's a patient, but then you also have the fact that this court case is riding on her father, which also is in a way connected to your job. There's so much at stake there. I honestly, when he came in, I actually thought he was going to say something like she had some sort of terminal illness.
I did too. I thought he was going to tell her she had like uterine cancer or something.
Exactly.
Sorry, not to be dark or put that on
I was
this
going to say that
fictitious
too.
character.
Yeah, and no one would have guessed that, but it'll be interesting to see how the chips fall. We did get to see a little bit of a peek in the preview. So it'll be interesting to see what their relationship looks like and how much more we'll find out about Julia's mom. Okay, so we were talking off camera before the show started. What do you think actually happened? We found out that Julia's mom was a bit of a free spirit. She did not want to be a mother. Now we find out Leon's not the daddy.
First things I just have to address on this topic is, sounds like Julia's like her mother. That was just the first thing I learned. Like, okay, that makes sense. Prior to her... the Brother Humper episode, she was a free spirit. Am I wrong? She was just modern free spirit. She was using a dating app and stuff. So, and she hadn't had much in the sense of like serious committed relationships. And also piggybacking on that, she doesn't know if she wants to be a mom. So she sounds like she is her mom.
Yes.
So there's that. What I want to know is, does Dr. Bechley know he's not her dad? And then how does that tie in with how he had her those first few weeks of life, and she slept on his chest and the heartbeat to heartbeat and the skin to skin and all of that stuff. I wonder if in that season, if he was like, this isn't my child, but I'm bonding with her as if though she is, or if he was totally had no idea.
I have a thought, but I'm going to save it for predictions. I think
I might have just ruined all my predictions. I don't know.
We've got so much more to predict. So, speaking of that, let's go into the other mind-blown... It's not really a plot twist, but it finally happened. We can breathe. Edie was honest with
Thank
him.
God. It was exhausting to watch.
I know. It spanned way too many episodes.
Yeah, it's been a long-running joke.
So when you were watching that scene, what were you feeling? What was running through your mind?
When she tells Tim?
Yes.
Kind of a lot of things. We saw a side of Tim we've never seen. He's such like a mellow character. I suspect and I have no idea, but I suspect that's how the actor is in real life. I think that's just kind of more of his personality. He just seems kind of like mellow and understated. It's just interesting to watch Tim raise his voice and be kind of like aggressive.
Which is what Edie asked for.
Yeah.
It
kind of needs, I think.
Maybe
she needs more of that, Tim. But I was kind of on the edge of my seat when he's like, I just have one question. And I was like, what's he going to ask her? Has she slept with her? What is it? And it was, do you love her? And I was like, oh, yeah, the most important question. Which she just kind of nodded around.
Yeah. Do you think that Edie really loves Amanda?
No.
Okay, explain.
No. I think, again, I don't want to ruin predictions. Should we just do predictions early?
We can wait. It's okay. I actually agree with you. I don't think that they've built enough of a relationship to say that they love each other. And what they have built, a lot of it has been based on half-truths.
Yeah.
We just randomly found out that Amanda's a mother and that she's a divorcee. And for the longest time, Edie wasn't being honest with her husband and was really, I don't think you can say that you're really in love when your relationship is not built on truth and is just, it's also very new as well. Not to say that you can't fall in love quickly, but I think that's a different type of love, when you really put in that work.
I think she's confusing being in love with just trying to be who she is. I think she's trying to figure out who she is, and this is at her age the first time she's confronted these feelings. So I think it could be any number of women in Amanda's seat that she could be feeling this for, because I think she just finally is coming of age and facing what she has going on in herself.
Girl, I'm excited to hear your predictions. But speaking of that, so we have our lovely fans out there. Bethany, can you share a message for them?
Getting phantom hairs out of my eye. Yes, guys, thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV Talk, and we just really love hearing back from you. If you have something positive to say, please leave us a comment on all platforms. We do read them, and they bring us much joy. Make sure you give us 5 stars and 2 thumbs up, and just keep watching and interacting with us because we really love it. And thank you so much. We have a blast doing this, and it's all for you guys, so it means everything.
Oh, that was so heartfelt. I love that.
Thanks. I'm not good at memorizing stuff. You just have to go off the cuff.
You're good. You're good. So my favorite character,
Roxy. Ooh, she had a rough episode.
Roxana. I found out her real name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, her mom called her Roxanne. I was like, oh, I get it. It's cute.
Roxy is such a cute name, though. Can we just take a minute to recognize that Roxy is an adorable name?
I even like Roxana.
And at all ages.
Yeah.
Like baby Roxy, oh, so cute. Teenage Roxy, oh, adorable. Grandma Roxy, I'm all about it. Like Roxy's a cute name.
She's walking around in like cheetah print. Yes. Like I see Grandma Roxy in my head. Anyway.
Good job, Diane, on naming Roxy.
Yes. But Roxy, poor girl, my favorite girl, she really went off the rails, but I think it was time. I think this episode,
we were waiting
a lot
for
of
it,
things.
don't you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of things this episode we were waiting for. So what did you think? Have you ever been in a similar situation? I felt so helpless on their behalf.
I've known a lot of addicts. Everyone in the world knows addicts because they're a very common thing. There's just different levels of how functioning you are
and
how well you hide it and what forms they come in and all of that stuff. I want to start by saying I do think she's in pain.
Like physical pain?
Yeah. I think being a gymnast has wrecked her back and neck, which is almost 10 out of 10 story for gymnasts. So it would just make sense that she would need pain meds. I just think there's also an addiction element. And I would also be curious to know, is it almost like your body becomes slightly, like you build up an intolerance, like you end up needing more to kill the same pain that was killed with a smaller, milligram dose before, so then they end up needing more, and I don't know. It was sad to watch her fall from grace so much. She was kind of getting in like a happy swing, and she was coaching, and it was cool to see her investing her time in another person. She was so happy with this newfound Bechley family and her sisters, and she liked Isaac, and she just had like so much going for her. It was kind of sad to watch it all fall apart, but also necessary.
Yes, exactly. I agree. I think anytime something that's in the dark, whether it's the affair, whether it's the fact that Leon is not Julia's father, I think it's important for things that are in the dark to come to the light. Not every single thing, but important issues like that, things that are really world shaking.
And this is a hard addiction to break too, because say she goes to rehab and gets quote unquote cleaned up, she's still going to be in pain. So how is she going to treat her pain if she can't reach for a prescription? Like, I don't know what the answer is.
What I'm hoping is they can at least start with the internal pain, because I think that is also fueling her behavior as well. I do believe that she has physical pain, but I wonder how much of that is exacerbated by the internal pain that she's going through. The fact that she doesn't get along with her parents. She feels like no one cares for her. She ran and jumped into this newly found family, but she just feels like the world is against her. I think there's so much there, and I'm hoping that while she's in rehab, and I'm sure that they will have counselors, but I'm really hoping that she starts to dig up those things, you know?
It's dangerous when you're the show pony and from a young age, because it does make you feel like nobody cares about you. Like, do you really care? She was talking about her coaches. They would just kind of like put a bandage on her and be like, okay, get back out there.
Yeah.
You know, they care.
Especially this coach who likes to take advantage of situations.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's right to feel that way.
Yeah.
She has been, you know, used in that regard and not sincerely cared for, and it made me very sad for her.
Side note, the clinic, so we talked about this also off camera. The clinic that she was going to, I am fairly certain, like if I had $5 to bet, I would bet my $5 on the fact that that clinic is actually my college campus.
Yeah, your college.
That clinic looks like our chapel. And I was looking at the buildings in the background. I used to go to that chapel often. I'm very familiar with it. And the buildings in the background, and you saw, I think, students walking by. I'm fairly certain that was St. John's University in Queens, New York.
I love it.
I know. Well, I mean,
I'm sure you're right.
I'm fairly certain it's in New York.
It's cool to be on a panel with someone from New York that's seeing something from New York, because when you live in LA, you see, I can't even watch anything without seeing something from my neighborhood.
Especially if you work or live in Burbank, you identify so much.
Everywhere. Everything you watch, everything you consume is shot in places. That's my deli.
Yep.
That's my Gelson's. That's my grocery store.
Exactly.
You know, it's kind of everywhere. So it's cool to spot something from New York.
Yes.
That is fun.
Yes, and hopefully.
And by the way, I wasn't putting that together.
You weren't putting
when
that
you were
together.
saying that was my college. That's my college. I totally thought you meant some college in LA.
Oh, no. This was, I mean,
yeah,
yes.
Cool to hear. Oh, in New York. That is cool.
Yeah, and it's cool to see the show is actually shot in New York and not just, yes. So, sidebar. But I'm hoping that Roxy begins to get her life together. It's a journey. But I'm hoping that by the time the season comes back, she'll be in a much better space and really start digging up all the dirt. And the same for her sisters as well. Hopefully Julia will really begin to dig up some things that she's digging up some untruths, but also some things she needs to work through. Same for Edie. I mean, Roxy laid it all out when when she let them have it. You know, she opened even my eyes like, oh yeah, they're all kind of addicts.
I also wonder if this is ever going to put Julia on a path of researching who she does share DNA with.
We shall see.
Because now she has all these family members in her life who she doesn't actually share DNA with.
Yeah.
Which might put her on her own quests. You know, if we end up seeing a second season or something, there might be like, well, you know, what do I have? So wait, I'm not like British and German and whatever.
I have a question that's going to inform our predictions when we get to it.
Okay.
Yeah, stick a pin in that.
Do-do-do.
All right, guys, so that covers the show. Next up, we have news and gossip. It's mostly news today. So as we've mentioned throughout this episode thus far, this is the mid-season finale. Almost Family will be back on January 1st. That will be its winter premiere. We'll come back with episode 9. It is a 13-episode season. We haven't heard anything about a season 2 yet, but just FYI, it is coming back on January 1st. Our studio will be closed, so we won't have an episode for you guys that night, but the following week we will cover episodes 9 and 10. So just be on the lookout, be aware, stay up to date, and yeah, that's your news. I hope you feel informed.
It's not gossip.
It's not gossip.
That is real news.
It is straightforward news, guys.
Yeah, this is not fake news.
This is real news. All right, next up we have my favorite special segment. Tonight's a good one. We have DNA Dominoes.
It's an unusual one. They kind of all are.
They are, but this one really threw me for a loop. I had no idea about this one. Please tell me.
I like it a lot. So, for this episode of DNA Dominoes, you might be interested to find out that Marissa Tomei was on PBS Finding Your Roots, and she found out she is a cousin, unbeknownst to her. They have identical, the identical stretch of DNA along her X chromosome is shared with Julianne Moore. The cousin Vinny and Hannibal Star have identical DNA. So after she found this out on the show, apparently Julianne Moore must have seen it because she tweeted out and said, "I knew we were alike. OMG, I'm so excited. Thank you for letting us know that we share identical DNA segments." So wow. I thought this was really interesting and kind of weird, and just makes me want to learn more about DNA, which I'm so fascinated about. Because Marissa Tomei is Italian, like very Italian. Mm-hmm. Her parents are both originally from the Tuscan region. Like her mom is from the Tuscan and Sicilian region, and her dad's from the Tuscan region. And then Julianne Moore is German, Irish, Welsh, British, Scottish, and Jewish. So I don't get it. It's very confusing. If anyone knows anything about DNA and how you can share DNA with someone who isn't in your ethnic group, tell me more about that. I want to know more about it. It's interesting.
Someone, somewhere, I guess. That is interesting. I'd love to find out more.
Well, and it also makes me wonder, so in Julianne Moore's case, maybe she has Italian in her and doesn't know it.
Or maybe the opposite.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah. Oh, so actually, and Julianne Moore's dad is from Jersey. So there's got to be something there.
Yeah.
Because we all know Marissa Tomei is like a New Yorker.
Yeah. I mean, Jersey's not far.
But yeah. So there's something there. I don't know what it is.
That's really cool. I should look that up.
I
Probably
know.
won't, but I should look it up anyway.
Well, and I thought it was really interesting, too, that Julianne Moore was like, "I knew we were alike. OMG, I knew we were so alike." And I was like, really? I would have never considered them to be alike. I'm even like analyzing their bone structure and their face. I'm like, to me, they aren't very alike, but maybe they have similar acting style approaches or like personality things. Maybe she sees things on her on camera with mannerisms that she identifies with, and it's like, oh, I do that too, like the teeth tap.
Well, we saw how that ended up in the last episode. So
oh, yeah.
That was misleading. So
that is. Ooh.
Interesting.
Man.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was really cool.
It's a fun one.
I love it. All right. So, predictions. We've been talking about it all night.
TV predictions.
So, my question for you to inform your predictions, because I remember you were dancing on it earlier. What do you think each of the characters' arcs will be? Because at this point, we're more than halfway through the season. And a lot of the things that needed to be addressed have been addressed or brought to the light. Mm-hmm. So where do we go from here?
I don't know. I mean, great question. I think we're gonna see Roxy in rehab and working through her stuff, and I think she'll be visited by, if they'll allow them, the sisters and all of that. So I think she'll be on a healthy path. I also think, I mean, if I'm going to dive into this, she might confront some of the stuff about her young relationship with this coach.
Oh, I hope so.
Because she'll be getting a lot of counseling and stuff. I think Edie's going to realize that this isn't as much about Amanda as it is just about her sexual orientation and that exploration. Mm-hmm. And I think she and Tim are going to get a divorce. Mm-hmm. I personally think, I still think her heart's in it, you know? And if it was, regardless if she was bisexual or not, I don't think she would be flirting with these urges. You know? Yeah, so I think Amanda will eventually be out of the picture. My biggest prediction, it's a kind of an out there one, but I really like giving out there predictions.
Please do.
I think Isaac is going to confront having feelings for Julia.
Finally.
And I think Tim might too, and we might see an Isaac-Tim showdown for Julia's affections, which of course she'll choose neither of them, but maybe Isaac.
I don't know.
I could get into her and Isaac being together. I think Donovan's going to fade away. I think he's just going to be like, okay, you're a lot with your wanting to maybe have kids, and I'm still grieving my wife, so let's be friends.
That's fair. I could see that. What do I think? I think that, kind of similar to what you were saying, I think that the Eadie and Amanda thing is going to come to an end. I agree that I don't think that she's in love. I think she's exploring a different part of herself, but then also in a way, sometimes I believe you can be in lust and not love. So I think it could be a little bit of that. And I already went into earlier how I feel about the relationship. I don't know about her and Tim. I feel like she really values what they've built, and she's really gone back and forth with this. I don't know if she's really out of it just yet, but she might get divorced, but I don't think, either way, I don't think that her and Amanda are going to last. Julia, I think some really dark things are going to come up. Oh, yes, I said this earlier too. I think that her mother, Sarah, may have had an affair and got pregnant. Mm-hmm. And I think that Leon really wanted to keep the child anyway, and convinced her to do that. That's what I think actually happened. We're going to find out, I hope. But that's what I'm thinking. We'll find out in the future. And then, with Roxy, I think it's just going to be, this is just the beginning of her finding her path to freedom. I hope that she's the first one who is able to walk in wholeness. You know, she's my favorite, but I guess we'll see when the show comes back. January 1st, y'all.
And I hope she gets some resolve with her parents.
Yeah.
It's not good to just be hopping into this new life and forgetting the people that raised you. Regardless if they did it right, regardless if they cared about your injuries and pushed you and all of this stuff, I think it's undeniable that her parents love her.
Right.
You know?
I mean, Leon said it. He said that he felt like he's everyone's father, but not their dad.
Which was really funny to me that he said that, because that was before we knew he wasn't Julia's father.
Right.
So when he said that, I was like, well, you've been a dad to Julia her whole life.
So he's her dad, but not her father.
He's everyone's father, but not their dad. But in Julia's case, he's her dad, but not her father.
Maybe that'll be part of his character arc, right?
Yeah.
He finally realizes, hey, I have a wonderful daughter that I've been a dad to. Let me focus on that and not try to save the world.
Also, what if we found out that, like, Genevieve and Leon and Sarah were part of, like, some commune hippie movement at the time?
I knew you were
going to
say that.
Everywhere.
Like some sort of...
And maybe Genevieve was not inseminated, but Leon is the father, and maybe he just knew Sarah was, we'll say, promiscuous, and he didn't know if he was the father, and he didn't care.
Well, you know, I felt from the very beginning that Edie was obviously his biological child, but his naturally conceived child.
Yeah,
from the very beginning.
I always thought so too.
I don't know, girl.
For a lot of things. I mean, for so many reasons. There's just kind of this dynamic and understanding with Genevieve and him. Like, you can tell they go deep.
And I've said this in previous episodes, I think she's way too comfortable with the idea of him using his sperm and not telling her. I think she's way too comfortable with that.
And also, I don't think she had a partner at the time of pregnancy. We don't know anything about that, about if Edie had a dad.
Yeah,
before.
I think the only thing...
like no. Like, sounds like she was just single. It would just be, a lot of it wouldn't line up. Why would this single girl be going into debt to be artificially inseminated?
Well, she did say in an early episode she really wanted to be a parent. She claimed that she didn't know that Leon did what he did, but I don't believe her. I think that she knew what was up. and I think that she was okay with it.
So do I.
We'll find out. But anyway, guys, that covers it for the mid-season finale for Almost Family. Bethany, where can we find you on social media?
Hey guys, you can find me on Instagram at Bethany Jean Official. That's Bethany with an IE.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at PrincessCTV. We'll see you guys in a few weeks. We'll see you guys in January. Not the 1st, the studio's closed, but the week after. We'll see you guys for 2 episodes. Bye.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.